Riju Dutta of the TMC is joining us. Gargi Nandi Roy is political analyst, leans towards the BJP. Riju, did the state government not make a mistake by opposing the central forces in the first place? Did you not make it very transparent, the fact that you are opposed to central forces in the state during elections?
See, when we went to Supreme Court, the state government went to Supreme Court as a symbolic protest.
Symbolic?
Because in other states, yes. And why I will say that, give me the time to explain, please. That when in Tripura there was Panchayat elections and 96% seats were uncontested, the elections were held by the Tripura State Police. Similarly, in Uttar Pradesh, where there were 48% uncontested seats, the election was held by UP State Police. So here, after the High Court given that verdict, we went to Supreme Court as a symbolic protest because it has never happened in Panchayat polls anywhere throughout the country. However, if you
But
go
maybe
by the
West Bengal's history is such that both the High Court and the Supreme Court felt that there is ample reason for central forces. You can't compare yourself and the history of violence during elections, including Panchayat polls in Bengal, to other states.
Okay, now let me explain to you, if just give me the courtesy of time. In 2003, in Bengal Panchayat election during the left regime, around 85 people died. In 2018, in the Trinamool Congress regime, there was 34% uncontested seats and around 30 people died. But in 23, with the leadership, under the leadership of Abhishek Banerjee specifically, there is more nominations by the opposition than the ruling government. Out of 7 people, unfortunately, who have lost their lives, 4 are TMC Karyakartas, not opposition parties. And this is the first time in the history of Bengal where the opposition has given 100% nominations.
Yeah, but I believe one of the arguments, Riju, fair enough, but this is still more than what other states witnessed. That's my point. And the reason why possibly the court was more inclined to have central forces is because in the past, the state government has asked for help by other states. In other words, accepting they need help, but they're somehow particularly opposed to the central forces. Why is that?
Yes, why is that? Because I'll tell you 2 reasons. One reason is because when the last time round, when the central forces were deployed during the Vidhan Sabha elections, and there was 8-phase election in the COVID, there was a small case of violence.
There was an incident, yes.
Where 4 TMC Karyakartas were gunned down by the BSF. That was the central forces. That was point number 1. And point number 2, even if the central forces come, which I again mentioned, the Vidhan Sabha elections, 8-phase, more than 70 companies of central forces. What was the result? The matter of the fact is, I'm not going to comment on the court of law, but I will say that the political bankrupt oppositions, they cannot win with or without.
I'm not getting into who wins. I'm not getting into who wins. Certainly the TMC is in pole position. I don't think anybody is discussing that or discounting that. But let me bring in Gargi Roy as well. Do you see this as a big victory for the opposition in the state? Because in this case, as has happened in the past, all kinds of oppositions have been opposed to the violence that is perpetrated, allegedly, particularly on them and their candidates during elections.
Right. For now, it is one step like it is that, yes, you can expect on the day of the election, people can come out and vote. But it does not assure that there will be no violence at all. And I find it very pathetic on Riju's part to make a comparative study of violence and death. I think this is uncalled for. Okay, how many people died then? How many people are dying now? There should not be any violence. And let's not forget that, yes, Bengal has a history of political violence. And the reason is very clear. Because of abject poverty, this Panchayat is a source of revenue generation. So people are desperate to get that revenue or that money, and that money goes to the top. And that is why the violence happens. Whoever has died, it is sad, even it is TMC, BJP, Congress. But the Chief Minister, also the Home Minister and the police forces under her. So the police has miserably failed, and we have seen that violence is happening, bombs are being hurled, and the police is standing at a distance and eating and feigning ignorance. Literally feigning ignorance. When the journalist went and told, can't you hear the bombs being hurled? They're saying, oh, where is the sound? So the West Bengal police have become deaf. So such is the scenario. But the thing is, have we forgotten the violence, the post-poll violence in 2021? No, the ghost of post-poll violence still haunts us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is not just about the comparison, as Riju you were making, between panchayat elections between under the left or the earlier TMC governments. It's also about what we witnessed just 2 years ago. And in that case, the government could have argued that, this was a transfer of power period where no one was, directly in control. But this is not so.